my God. I spent $500 on keyboards, guys, over this past year. And I know what you think, the boy is crazy for spending that much money on keyboards. You can get a keyboard from Walmart for $20, and yes you can. But on today's video, we're going to go over the reasons why I spent so much money on keyboards. We'll take a look at the different keyboards that I purchased, and ultimately at the end, we're going to come to a decision and a final conclusion. Do I regret spending so much money on keyboards? If this is your first time into the channel, then I want to let you know that I'm your boy Paul, and on this channel is where we discuss all the tools, books, and resources that are available to help you skill up and improve your life and your business. And there's no better way to improve your life and your business than having the proper equipment, especially those of us that are working at home. So I am very fortunate in the fact that I am now a remote worker, as we're sometimes called, but that wasn't always the case. For the majority of my adult professional life, I've trekked the miles, I've driven over an hour back and forth. Just to get into the office. I remember in some states and some cities taking buses, planes, trains, automobiles, all combinations thereof to get into the office. But like many of you, back when COVID pandemic first hit and everything went remote, the entire world changed and we were placed at home to work. Now, over the course of the past couple of years, I've been very fortunate to land myself in a company that does support remote work. So I've been working at home for a couple of years now. There's a couple of things that I've learned when I worked at home. First of all, what's very important is that you separate your business and your professional life. And one of the key ways that I have to do that is by separating the computers. I have a laptop that I use for work that they provided to me. I keep that strictly for stuff that I do for the job. And then I have my personal laptop that I use for all of my side hustles and all of my personal stuff. And so, you know, like most of you, I had to rearrange the whole bedroom, the whole studio, the whole office to make it suitable to work from home. And so I did arrange a nice, comfortable space for myself since I'm here in this room for at least 12 hours a day minimum between work and side hustles and doing all this content for you guys. And so I wanted to make it very comfortable, very smooth, and very convenient and easy. I wanted to remove all the obstacles that are in the way so there was less friction when I was balancing from work to personal life. So when I first started working from home, they sent me all my equipment. They sent me a monitor, the laptop, the mouse, the docking station, and the keyboard. Now, the keyboard is totally fine. This is the keyboard, guys, that got sent with me initially working from home. But as you can see, this is not a wireless keyboard. This is your basic keyboard that you will connect through your USB to your laptop. Now, nothing's wrong with that. It gives great performance. It's a good keyboard, but I'm a guy that likes a lot of space on my desk. I'm a guy that does not like cords and wires, and so I wanted to transition to a wireless keyboard. And so when I started researching wireless keyboards, I found that there are keyboards that give you the ability to connect to multiple devices. And to me, that sounds genius, because one thing that I really hated was having to toggle from when I left work, moving the keyboard out of the way in order to bring out a new keyboard or disconnect the keyboard to plug it into my personal computer to use for personal. So the thought of having one keyboard that I could use for both of my computers sounded really intriguing to me, so I started to dive into it. And trust me guys, if you haven't been there, most of you probably have, but if you haven't been there, you start going on YouTube looking at keyboards, there's this big rabbit hole that you can go down. We start talking about mechanical keyboards and modified keyboards and custom keyboards, and boy, I got in it. I mean, the rabbit hole was deep, and they vary in prices, anything from as little as $20 all the way up to a couple $100 for some keyboards. So I really wanted to be specific. I wanted to go and make sure I did a right investment. I knew that I was going to spend a little bit of money on a keyboard, but I didn't really know, anything about mechanical keyboards or, difference with typing and switches and all of that. There were a couple of things that I wanted to make sure I bought. I wanted to make sure I bought a keyboard that, number one, the most important to me, is that I could switch between my professional computer and my personal computer. So I wanted the ability to switch back and forth from home to work, without having to go through a bunch of hoops, without having to disconnect cords. I wanted to make sure it was something that was wireless because I didn't want the cords cluttering up my desk. I liked the empty desk space. And I preferred something that had a Wi-Fi connection. You connect wirelessly, not just Bluetooth, but something you could connect wirelessly. So I do want to start by prefacing this. Both of my computers that I'm using right now are Windows-based. The laptop they sent me for work is Windows-based, and for my personal computer, I'm using a Surface Pro, which is of course also Windows-based. So the functionality of being able to switch between Windows and Mac wasn't too much of a concern. So I boiled it down to a couple different keyboards. But the first keyboard that I purchased, and I figured that this was going to be the only keyboard I was going to buy, was the Logitech MX Keys. So let's take a look at this keyboard. This is my Logitech MX Keys keyboard. You can see this is a pretty significant keyboard. Now the big thing with this keyboard is that, again, it connects wirelessly. You can use a wireless connection, you can also use a Bluetooth connection, or it can be wired. And a big thing for me initially, at least I thought it was going to be, is that I needed a number pad. I do a lot of numbers and typing, dialing numbers, on a phone through the keypad. So I thought the numpad would be very important. So I wanted to get a full-size keyboard that had the numpad. This is the Logitech MX Keys keyboard. This is a nice keyboard. It performed for me very well for at least a couple of months, but it started to get a little dreary for me just because it was black. My computers are black, the monitors are black, I had a black desk mat, and so coming in every day looking at this for 12, 13 hours, I wanted to try to spruce it up a little bit, add a little bit of life to the office, and try something a little new. And so I branched out, started looking at some other keyboards. So the other two keyboards I looked at, and I was trying to decide which one I wanted. I couldn't make a decision, so I purchased both of them. So the second keyboard that I purchased is this baby right here. This is the Iqunix F96. As you can see, it's just the most beautiful keyboard you've ever seen. Isn't this the most beautiful keyboard you've ever seen, guys? I love the color. I like the brightness. It adds a lot of life. What I do really like about this and why I went with the F96 is because it does have the numpad right here. And like I said, the numpad I thought was going to be very important for me. It is a mechanical keyboard. It does have, I think it's Cherry MX Silver switches. Not a big deal for me. I'm not so concerned about the experience with the typing and the clickiness. This is the only model that they had at the time in this particular color, but I wanted this color because it brightened it up. And then the other keyboard that I purchased was the Nuphy Air 75. Now the Nuphy Air 75 is a 75% keyboard, which means it doesn't have the numpad. And so let me take a look at this beautiful guy right here. This is the Nuphy Air 75. Now this one I purchased because I wanted to see what it was like to not use the number pad, but again, it gives you the ability to connect to multiple computers. It is very compact in size, and I thought that I would really enjoy taking up less desk space, so I have more room to take my notes or move my mouse around or what have you. So these are the three keyboards. So those are the three keyboards that I purchased. Let's go over prices. The Logitech MX Keys keyboard, that cost me $120 plus tax. The Nuphy Air 75, now I bought it with just the keyboard itself. It comes with like a carrying case. I didn't spend any extra on that. I got it. It does have the RGB lighting in the back. This cost me, again, another $120 for the Nuphy. And then the other keyboard I purchased, this one right here, this baby here. This is the Iqunix F96. This is the beauty. This is, when it comes to the beauty of the keyboard, guys, you gotta see this. And when you put it on my desk, this is a beauty. Now, I did get it without the RGB lighting, just because I don't fuss about the RGB lighting so much. I have lamps, I have lights here in the office. I'm never really typing in the dark, so it wasn't a big concern for me. It is hard to come by. I believe they stopped making this keyboard, but Iqunix does have other models available, other colors. But this keyboard here cost me just over $220. All that plus shipping. So if you total those up, $120, $220 plus shipping, $500 on keyboards, and my wife is looking at me like I have two heads, like I'm crazy. But let me tell you the difference this has made in my life. First of all, the ability to switch back and forth between the computers, it's amazing. This is life-changing for me. I can have one keyboard, set it in the middle of my desk. I don't ever have to move the keyboard. I can get the right position. I can get it where my fingers type perfectly, and just with the switch, I can move back and forth. Now, just to compare the three, with the Iqunix, there is a little delay. You have to hit the function and either the 1, 2, or 3, because you can connect it up to 3 devices. So you hold down the function and the number corresponding to the computer you have it linked to, and it's about maybe a 2-second delay for it to switch over. Not too much of a big deal for me. The Logitech, there is simply a button at the top labeled here 1, 2, and 3, and all you have to do is hold that down for a second and it will switch seamlessly between your computers. And the Nuphy, similar to the Iqunix, you just have to, hold down the button corresponding with the computer that you're using, and it's going to be a slight delay. So all three keyboards work fine when it comes to toggling back and forth. I can switch between my professional and my personal laptop, no problem. Not much of a delay. I'm not doing it all the time throughout the day, right? It's only usually once or twice per day as I shut down my work computer, go to do my personal stuff, then again in the morning switching back to my work computer. So it's not a big deal where I have to toggle back and forth all the time, so it's not an issue. All three of these keyboards do have Wi-Fi connection. Now, the Iqunix gave me a little bit of problem with the wireless connection. So ultimately I opted just to use the Bluetooth connection. There's not that much latency, so it was working fine for me. But for whatever reason, the dongle just kept giving me trouble. Software on my computer wasn't reading it. I just couldn't get it to work using the wireless connection, so I had to go for the Bluetooth connection. Again, not an issue. The Logitech, perfect, no problems at all. They gave you the receiver that you plugged in. It worked perfectly through the wireless connection. You were even able to share the receiver with the Logitech mouse. So if you had the Logitech mouse and the keyboard at the same time, then you can just use one receiver, which was fantastic because that saved a lot of space in my docking station for other contraptions to plug in, right? I opted to go with the Logitech mouse as well. This is a beautiful mouse, so it works great for me. I only had to have that one receiver. And the Nuphy Air, they gave you the dongle for the wireless connection. It just didn't work. The wireless connection, for whatever reason, if you were trying to connect wirelessly, there was funky things with the keyboards. It was giving you weird keys. I would type in one key, it would show me something else. I just totally gave up on using the Wi-Fi on that, but I was able to connect using the Bluetooth, no trouble. And again, it doesn't seem to be giving me any problems whatsoever in the latency that I experienced. So out of the three, the Logitech really did perform the best when it came to the wireless experience, but the ability to switch back and forth to the computers remains the same. The typing experience is much different on each and every one of them. Now, I was used to the low-profile keyboards for a long period of time. I would use the keyboard on my laptop or the keyboard that came with the initial computer when they sent me my stuff from work. They're all pretty low profile, so the typing experience was okay on all of those, but what I found is that as I updated to the Iqunix, the typing experience was a lot better with the higher keys and a little bit more of the mechanical feel to it. It just, I don't know, it just gave me a better typing experience overall. Although the typing experience on all of them was okay, but I would give the winner on that one to the Iqunix. Last but not least is the overall value for your money. Now, I will say when it comes to value for your money, the Logitech is going to win. It gives you the most value, gives you the most flexibility, it's easy, gives you the full keyboard, the numpad. It has backlights. They're not RGB, but it is backlit, so you're able to see it in the dark, and it does illuminate through the keys. Whereas with the other keyboards, the Iqunix, there's no backlighting at all to it. The Nuphy Air does have some backlighting to it, but these keys aren't transparent, so the light doesn't come through the keys to see it on the actual keypad itself. So it's pretty much useless for the most part unless you just want little fancy rainbow colors or whatever going through the keyboard. Not much of a concern there. So for 120 bucks, I believe that the Logitech is the winner. It gives you the best value, the best performance, if that's what you're looking for. My preference and my choice, ultimately what I decided to do with for my go-to, it's the Iqunix. The Iqunix F96, that is the winner, guys, for me. It gives me everything that I wanted. It gives me the flexibility to jump between computers, gives me the Bluetooth connectivity, it gives me the numpad, which I'm able to use, and it is just a beautiful piece of work. When you look at it on my desk, it is the star of the show. I come in every day, I look at my desk, and it just makes me feel happy to see it on there. I changed a few things around. I got the gray desk mat to go with it, with the gray mouse to lighten up the mood a little bit. So overall, this has been a wonderful experiment. Ultimately, do I regret spending $500 on keyboards? No. And I'm going to tell you why I don't regret it. Because if I was not able to go and try different things and experience how it felt, I would never be set in my mind as to, did I get the best keyboard for me? And to me, it was worth it to spend a little bit of money on a couple different keyboards so I can get different experiences and try them out for myself and come to a final decision and just have a set peace of mind that I did everything I could. I tried different resources, tried different avenues. So ultimately, I spent $500 on keyboards, guys, because I do work at home, and it has really changed my entire work at home experience. Being able to come in and just have one keyboard on the desk, taking up minimal desk space, no cords whatsoever, and I'm able to toggle back and forth and use multiple computers. Guys, it is wonderful. So there you go, guys. That's going to wrap up this video. That is my summary. If this video brought you any type of value, if you enjoyed what you see, make sure you hit that like button for me. It really means a lot for you to like the video. It helps feed the YouTube algorithm, give me a little bit more encouragement to push on, and it helps my content get out to more people so they can maybe get some value from it as well. If you wanted to see other videos like this, I do have the link to the unboxing video for the Iqunix. That link will be down below, and you can check out any of my other videos where I review any other tools, books, and resources that are available to help you skill up and improve your life and your business. And I really do appreciate you tuning in. And guys, if you're looking to get a little bit deeper into my journey, understand all of my fears, my failures, share with me and all of my successes as I look to improve my life and my business by skilling up, then make sure that you subscribe to my newsletter. That link is in the description as well. That will give you weekly updates sent directly to your inbox with all of my thoughts, all of my projects, and get you updated. I can't thank you enough for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, guys. It'll mean a lot for you to subscribe. Hit that notification so that you're aware when I release new videos. And I appreciate you taking your time, spending it here with me. I'm your boy Paul, and I'm going to see you along the journey. Take care, guys.